This week on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I just met her and I know more about her marriage than I know about your entire life in like 1 hour.
I'm going home.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the best TV show on television at this moment, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're going to be talking about Season 5, Episode 14. So let's get right into it. Okay, you guys, wow. Salt Lake City, y'all need an Emmy. Y'all really do, because y'all are, like I said, the best show on right now. I just love Salt Lake City. So let's get started. It is a brand new day in the beautiful beach of Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and everybody is waking up. Lisa tells them there's a wonderful breakfast prepared for them and that they'll be doing a lot of fun stuff today. We see Bronwyn FaceTime Todd, her husband. Apparently the night before, she was very upset after the argument she had, and she texted him, "I want to go home." Clearly she didn't. She was just upset at Lisa over the whole fight about the rooms, and obviously the argument got even more heated after that. It was then very funny. Whitney, Heather, and Angie go to a class of water aerobics, so they were there doing the thing with their arms and their fingers and everything. So after that, they then sit down for a little bit, and Whitney says that she feels very bad for Bronwyn because she feels Bronwyn feels upset over Lisa and their friendship. Heather says that she too feels bad for Bronwyn, but because of her husband. So on their way to Mexico, Bronwyn was telling them about the day that the dog bit her, and it was bad. It was more than just a bite. Like, it was horrible. Well, anyway, what Bronwyn has said to them on their way there was that the day it happened and she was rushed into the emergency room, Todd didn't want to go. He had said, like, "Oh, it's probably just a little scratch." And not only that, the ladies have seen the way he treats her in public in front of others. So, as annoying as Heather has been this season in particular, I will say it did sound like she was very concerned for Bronwyn in this instance over the way that her husband is mean to her. So it is then a little later, the whole group gets together. Lisa Barlow had VIDA only on some bag. The bag said VIDA only on them, and she gave it to them. Listen, I'd be upset if that was the gift I got. Thank God Bronwyn didn't listen to her and brought gifts herself, because what type of gift is this? When they get into the sprinter, Meredith looks a little down. It looks like she has no energy, and they ask her if she's okay, and Meredith says, "Yeah, I'm just a little tired," but something must be going on with her because Britney, who is in a room right next to Meredith's, heard her in the middle of the night crying and throwing up. And she said this to Heather earlier this morning, but yeah, she definitely heard. I did like seeing Angie help Meredith get down the sprinter. So then they get on a boat. They have a little bit of a dance off. It was hilarious. None of these poor women have rhythm, but you know what? It takes confidence to dance when you suck. They then sit around and they're talking, they're drinking, and they ask what their summer plans are. And Lisa says that she's going to try and spend a lot of time with her youngest son, Henry. Henry had been struggling a little bit at school with friends and things like that, but Lisa says that things are getting better and she really wants to help him. All of them are saying positive things about Henry. And then the queen of "What about me?" interrupts. And I'm referring to Britney. In the middle of this conversation about Henry, she says, "This is so unsupportive. Yesterday, I told y'all that I spent time with my daughter after not seeing her, and none of y'all said anything. That is so mean. I don't get to see them often." She was literally, you guys, going off about her situation about the night before. Bronwyn then says, "But were you excited to see your daughter, or were you excited about the idea of having an announcement?" Oh, so Britney says, "Bronwyn, you are just a bitch." And then Bronwyn's first reaction is a little odd. She tells Lisa, "Do you have any reaction? You have allowed this woman to call me many names and you don't defend me." So Lisa's like, "Listen, I try, but like, I don't get into everything. I'm trying to be a good friend to you, but like, clearly I'm never good enough." So then that's where Bronwyn starts to go off. She says, "Has anyone ever asked me questions about myself? Y'all like to label me, but none of y'all have ever cared to ask any questions to actually get to know me. Instead of coming to conclusions about me as a woman, as a wife, why don't y'all ask me, how is it being a stepmom? What are the challenges? What is my marriage like? What was it like me having to deal with an infidelity in my marriage? Whoa. When she said that, everyone kind of like shuts up, and Whitney asks, like, how did you find out? So Bronwyn starts to tell the story about this infidelity that Todd had. Bronwyn said that they were on a trip and her daughter Gwen looked over Todd's shoulder when he was using his phone and she saw that he was cheating on her. Bronwyn confronted him. And apparently Todd told her that because in business he's never satisfied and always looking for more, he does that in his personal life as well. What? That is the craziest excuse. Bronwyn's in tears, but apparently, after she found out, Todd came back with a ring that had 5 diamonds to signify 5 promises. I was like, girl, listen, I feel bad for you, but you're basically admitting that a few diamonds will buy you. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm of the playbook. If you cheat on me, it's over. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, who would stay with somebody after that? But she says that she always feels like she's not good enough at home, and she feels like she's not even good enough for these ladies. Meredith then asks something about, like, does Bronwyn think that perhaps Todd can't be invested in her because Bronwyn might be the one that's guarded? She says no, but Bronwyn says that she feels like Todd means more to her than she does to him. She doesn't think that Todd sees her as someone who's special. Bronwyn says, I feel like in my marriage and even in my friendships, there really isn't anyone who totally, fully knows me. Like, I'm not close with my mom. I'm losing my dad. And, you know, Lisa has been introducing me to friends, but it's been tricky. But it's been... And it's actually been kind of reinforcing the narrative that I'm not good enough for anyone. Wow, that was so sad. Heather says some nice things. She says, you are strong, you're allowed to demand more, you deserve to be treated like a queen, you don't owe Todd anything just because he might have done something good for you years ago. Heather really relates to this a lot because she had a similar experience with her ex-husband. Meredith says that she and Seth went through their thing and that it was hard, but they had to redefine what their relationship was like. So again, she says that maybe Bronwyn should do that so that Todd could, like, learn how to love her. It was a little weird for Meredith to sort of try to bring up some excuses for Todd. I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was doing it so that Bronwyn wouldn't feel like he totally doesn't like her. But I don't know, it was kind of weird. They all rallied around Bronwyn, though, for the most part. So I think that touched a lot of them and made them feel bad for her. So then it is time to get off the boat. When they're getting on the sprinter, though, Lisa does say to Angie, when Todd sees this, he's going to blow up. So they go back to the villa and eat their lunch. So they go into their own villa. So villa number 1, it's Lisa, Meredith, and Britney. They go there. They're asking Meredith again, how is she feeling? Meredith says that she just has a lot of exhaustion. In villa number 2, it's Angie, Whitney, Bronwyn, and Heather's there as well. So they're following up on Bronwyn, how is she doing? And Bronwyn says that even in the boat, as she was being super vulnerable and just sharing what she shared, it didn't feel like Lisa was very supportive given what she was sharing. And Whitney's like, yeah, I noticed that. Bronwyn also had a bit of a problem with Meredith saying, oh, well, maybe that's all Todd can do. And yeah, sorry, but Lisa and Meredith kind of were defending the cheater. So then Whitney says something super interesting. Whitney says, well, you know, one thing about Lisa and Meredith, they have been accused of cheating, so them defending the cheater would make sense. And I mean, Whitney got a point. Bronwyn says that even when it came to, like, speaking about Gwen's birth father, Lisa would always be trying to, like, romanticize him, like, oh, he was rich, he was all this. Angie says maybe there's something going on. Maybe Lisa didn't take what you were saying seriously. I mean, look where you're at. You're here with us, not with her. Okay, so it's a little later, and Mary M. Cosby is in Mexico. Before she arrived, though, she prayed to the Lord for guidance, and she found a rehab facility, and Robert Jr. is now there. Thank God. I seriously hope that this causes a positive change for him. So Mary is walking around. She arrives at the villa. She says hi to the ladies in villa number 1. Meredith did ask, like, oh, why didn't you come yesterday? Mary's like, I'm here. So it's interesting that Mary doesn't feel comfortable enough sharing what happened with Meredith, Heather hugs her, but then this made my heart really happy. I could have even shed a tear. Mary's like, where's Angie? She opens up the door of Angie's room, and Angie then says, Mary, and runs to hug her. Aw, it was such a sweet moment, because it's like Angie's got her. They don't even have to mention it, but Mary knows that Angie knows that she's there for her. It really was beautiful. I love that little moment. So then it is time for dinner. It's later. The theme of the dinner was VIDA Tequila. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looked like it could have been an event for the tequila. The logo was everywhere. Obviously, tequila is made in Mexico, so it's appropriate, I guess. But could Lisa even explain to me anything about agave? At least, though, she does know that Vida means life. So they're eating dinner. Mary ordered a pastrami soup. Never heard of that. As they're eating, Britney says, hey, Meredith, I want to ask you, are you okay? Are you feeling good? I heard you crying last night. Meredith says, yes, I'm good. I was upset last night, but I'm fine now. Thank you for asking. She was getting mad. And Bronwyn says, well, I heard that you were crying and throwing up, and that we might need to be concerned about you. And Meredith says, no, I did not throw up. Apparently, remember that I told y'all Britney told Heather? Well, Heather then told Angie, and then Angie told Bronwyn. But Meredith keeps saying, no, I did not throw up, which is making Mary pretty nauseous because they're eating. Meredith says, well, I'm glad I was a topic of conversation, but yeah, I was crying because of the slut shaming. I laughed out loud when Whitney says, what is Meredith, the advocate for sluts of America? Why is she so upset? But that made Angie a little confused. She says to Meredith, I thought we made up last night. But then you went to go cry? Are we not okay? Lisa then jumps in and says, well, if Meredith wants to cry, then she can. Y'all don't have to be questioning her about it. And Angie's like, Lisa, we agreed not to get involved. Lisa says, well, I can get involved with whatever I want. You don't get to tell me. And Angie says, don't get in the middle. Why? What do you want me to do? Lunge at you? And Lisa says, do you think you're a badass, Angie? And Angie's like, no. Why is it that when people talk to you about something, you automatically think that they're thinking they're a badass or that they want to have a problem with you? Are you the boss here? Can we not address you? Can I not have a conversation? Lisa says, you just don't like that I'm disagreeing with you, but you need to understand that you're the one that starts things, and when people get mad and disagree with you, then you forget that you're the one that started the things. Whitney Rose then turns to Lisa and says, it's interesting that when it's about your feelings, you want us to care, but when it's about us, you don't care. Lisa says, well, no one gives a F about my feelings, you especially. And Whitney says, actually, I do, but you get to be the dictator and pick and choose when things work for you. Lisa says, well, I get to protect myself. Whitney says, I wanted to be your friend, but the moment I stood up for myself, you left the friendship. Lisa says, no, you did a lot of things. You're lucky I even look at you. You're not a victim. What you are is a lying bitch. Whoa, damn. Bronwyn then tries to say something, and Lisa says, don't get involved. Bronwyn's like, oh, so you get to tell people not to get involved, but Angie can't? Lisa says, okay, Bronwyn, I'll get to you. And Bronwyn says, well, listen, matter of fact, I wanted to tell you, the way you reacted on the boat made me believe that you either don't believe what I said or you are taking Todd's side. Angie then says, we've got to give Bronwyn credit for what she shared with us at the boat, because on that boat ride, I actually learned more about her than I didn't even know about your whole life, Lisa. She was being very open. Lisa then gets very upset by that comment. Literally to the point of tears. She starts to cry. She's in total tears. Mary asks, why are you crying? And Lisa says, it doesn't matter. She gets up and says, I'm going home. And boom, that's where the episode ended. wow, that comment really put Lisa over the edge. Now, do I think that Angie meant it? Like, is Angie being for real? Does she really know more about Bronwyn than Lisa? No, I don't think so. I think she was trying to make a point that Bronwyn was being very open. But it's really interesting how that little comment made Lisa, like, be in the verge of tears. Now, here's the thing. I don't feel bad for Lisa Barlow. Sorry, you guys. I don't like to see anybody cry. I don't. But when you want to be the villain and you want to be you want to be the one, the HBIC, you don't then get to cry. Okay, you're either gonna be the victim or you're gonna be the villain. You don't get to be both. You don't get to say to someone, "You're lucky. I'm even looking at you. You're a lying bitch." And then when someone says to you, you cry and you want us to feel bad for you. That's not how it works. Lisa, I don't know what her problem is. There's something with her. Something's off. I don't know, but I don't feel bad for her. Her and Meredith are being very weird. I'm Team Angie on this one. Sorry, but I am. But anyway, you guys, let me know what your thoughts were about this episode, about Bronwyn being vulnerable, Lisa, Angie. It was a lot to talk about. So please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one.